Welcome to the 100 Master Coaches series featuring master coaches from around the world. Let's journey together on this 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Nana Hovhannisyan is a master certified coach with the International Coaching Federation and an expert with 19 years of experience in consulting and HR management. Through her lifelong passion for leadership development and coaching, she works with a variety of organizations and individuals in the spheres of business, government, and education. Currently, she leads the ICF Armenia Chapter and 818 Consulting, supporting current and future leaders, and developing the coaching industry in Armenia. Now on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to the 100 Master Coaches show. This is Coach Mal, and today on my show is my special guest from Armenia. Please put your hands together for Coach Nana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, and greetings, very warm greetings from Armenia, Mel, and thank you for having me here today.
You are most welcome. It's just great to have you here today, and obviously this whole show was designed so that master coaches from different parts of the world can be able to share their story, their journey. So I'm just going to ask you, where would you like to start our conversation today?
I would love to start with the gratefulness to you, Mel, because I was reflecting the other day how much wisdom you have already collected there. I mean, all those amazing coaches that took that journey and got to their MCCs. Because, I mean, for me, MCCs are so different. If you think about PCCs, that's about competencies, more or less. But I mean, beyond PCC, everybody is taking their own journey.
Yes, true.
And getting to MCC is really a big thing. So all that diversity that you're gathering there, all that wisdom, thank you for that.
You're most welcome. And you know what? I just want to have a shout out, since you're doing that, to every person that has been on the show, right? And you know, every coach, every master coach that have come in has shared it from their perspective, and it's just been so enriching, as you were saying, right? Because everyone's got a different gift to bring to the world, and so have you, Nana. And so I would like to invite you to tell us that story. Perhaps before the coaching story, I know you were in the workforce. You were in the bank, you were in telecommunication, and then, you were obviously a leader in the workforce already. So tell us a little bit about how that journey started for you.
Wow, yeah, what a question. It's really interesting. And you mentioned telecom, you mentioned bank, and there was also hospitality industry. Right from the beginning of my career, it was 2000. And when I reflect about how it really started, I mean, there are two questions. One is the official one, when it officially started. And the first one is when it really started. And when I reflect around when it really started, I have to admit, I'm a very result-oriented person. And it feels like back then, I started finding out about a method that helps to create value, super value for myself, for the clients, for those who I work with, super energy within a very limited time. So when I reflect around when it really started, I think that probably whatever I did in my career, that the philosophy of my approach was very much alike. And I have to tell you a story there. It was 2000, and I was a training manager for Marriott. And of course, we had a lot of trainings. We were traveling back and forth. We were having trainings of trainers, and we were doing trainings ourselves. And there I was taught about types of questions. And we all know about types of questions, open-ended questions, close-ended questions. There was a very special type of question that we were told about. And then they called those high gain questions. And how they were explaining it was, it's about, imagine a book. Open question is when you open a book and you read what's written there. So the knowledge, the content is there. High gain question is when you open one book, open another book, you synthesize new knowledge, and then you reply.
Oh, wow.
Now, Mel, tell me, please, what is it called? Wasn't it coaching back then in 2000?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, basically that's where the love story began. And I would train that. I don't know why, but I loved that way of thinking. I loved that approach, and I would train it. I would find a way to train it in any of my training sessions and training courses. But I mean, officially, it began around 13 years ago when I was taking an MIT Sloan course. We were put in triads and we were introduced to coaching, and that was when I decided that I'm going into this journey. And that's when I found out the name for the high gain question that I was training, using for so long.
Wow. So I hear you saying that it has been in and around you for quite a bit, and you were using it. Obviously, you were calling it that name, and you were still making a lot of impact. So I guess my curiosity goes to the place of, you've obviously been training people with the other questions, right? The open and close, and then now with this new sets of questions before even coaching. What was the difference that you felt that people got from that new sets of questions?
This is an amazing question, because while being in training and development, what we do, we keep giving knowledge, we keep transferring content, we keep training skills. It's basically something that comes from outside.
That's right.
All of the time. And what I've noticed from my 20 years of experience is that even with the best trainer in the world, there are cases that those who come, they would definitely understand. They will have a buy-in even, but it wouldn't change a lot in their lives.
Wow.
So they will get the knowledge, they will get, even they might train and get the skill. If they will go back and use that and incorporate that into their life, not always.
Yeah,
so there are cases when you need to help that one or the group or the team to unleash something from within, to find the why from within, to find the method from within, because if they do that, then the chance that they will incorporate it and they will be more dedicated is big. Not that it is becoming 100%, of course, but the chance is bigger. So that's, for me, the difference between coaching and training. And though I'm a consultant, I'm an expert, I'm a trainer, I'm a mentor, but I'm truly in love with coaching, because I'm sure that this is the method that needs to get some more focus on. It's not that for all cases coaching is working brilliantly, but there are a lot of cases when businesses, when people are using different methods. For example, they would use mentoring or training, but if they used coaching, that would definitely make a bigger difference.
Yeah, it's beautiful what you said, Nana. You talked about how it all synthesizes inside of the person, and the person tries to then align it with what they believe. And of course, what you said is that reason why, right? It could be their values, it could be the belief system, and it could sometimes even challenge what is within them. And then once they've taken the time to align all of that, and what comes out from there, it's that beautiful transformation, if I can say that word, right? And then it becomes a part of them, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And there is also another reason. And as I said, I'm very strong in, getting to results. I'm also a manager. What I have noticed that people who learn coaching, even if they don't coach, but if they continue developing as a coach, for example, they work in triads, or they use coaching approach in their management and leadership or teaching or anything, they grow faster than if they go to a soft skills trainings or something. They grow their human skills, their people skills, and they become better managers, they become better teachers, they become better leaders, they become better parents, they become better humans.
Yeah.
They become more effective.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. When you said that, it seems like you could add this booster into anything and anyone and every situation too, right? If you choose, because at the end of the day, it's still a choice, isn't it?
Exactly, because when you train yourself, when you develop your coaching muscle, you develop what? You develop your listening.
Yeah.
You develop your rapport building, you develop your presence, you develop how well you're able to get to agreements or help someone to find solutions or steps. I mean, isn't it management? Isn't it teaching? Isn't it parenting?
Yeah. It's a better way of life, if I can say that. Better way at leading as well. Yeah. So it's a wonderful enhancement. Thank you. I would love to know about how you started, right? So you were introduced to the world of coaching, and then there's obviously that bit about being an entrepreneur as well. Let's not kid or beat around the bush about this, especially to the young coaches coming in, right? One side, there is this competency building, exposing ourselves to different things and different methodologies, if I can say that. And you're right, sharpening that sword or strengthening that muscle as a coach. But then there's the other part, isn't it, Nana? There's that business entrepreneurial side that we need to also develop as a coach. So I would love to know your experience as you walked into this journey, deciding to be a coach, and also putting on that hat as an entrepreneur. How was that early days for you?
That's a good question to reflect about. I would say that those were parallel processes because me as an entrepreneur, I have started my business and it was a consulting business. And I clearly remember that day. And it was consulting. I was pure consulting with the focus on human resource management. And I clearly remember that day when I came to a strategic session with the management and ownership of of a hotel that was in the process of building. And I have done the strategic session using one of the tools that I was taught in my training. I mean, and then I remember the eyes of the owner of the hotel, and it was a small hotel. I mean, he was so impressed. I mean, his feedback. I mean, he said, I mean, the value that we created during these 2 days, and it lasted 2 days, was incredible, and I could see that in his eyes, and I thought, wow, this is again another proof that this is something really valuable, not only for me, not only for individual clients, but also for businesses and for teams. And I started using those methods in my consulting. So the answer is, very often when young coaches go and learn about coaching, they are saying, wow, this is a mystery, and I want to do only this. This is so important. This is so meaningful. I don't want to do anything else, anything that I have been doing. I do want to do only this. Here, I would suggest, just because, I mean, that transformation, that change is so big, you might truly decide to do that. But I would recommend, from my experience, is try to start step by step. Try to use those methods in whatever you do. That way, you will gain more knowledge. You will gain more experience. You will strengthen the muscle. Of course, it's not pure coaching, and you cannot call it pure coaching, but start to use those parts in whatever you do, and then go from there. I mean, stop making that decision right there, right in the beginning of your career. I mean, that's what at least I recommend to those who I mentor, who I train, because then you're becoming more adequate, I would say. So, I mean, in a year from when you start, you might already have some clients. You might already have that network. People start understanding around you, or start understanding what's coaching. Maybe those clients who you were consulting might come and say, I want this pure thing. So, but again, everyone takes their path. I have some cases with my students who started right there immediately, and they got like tens of clients immediately, and it started. Go ahead with your intuition, but I mean, try to use that method in whatever you do. What's the difference that it brings?
Yeah, I'm sure we would agree that every person coming into this will approach it differently, because we're all so different and unique. And so we bring in this gift so special in such a way that we probably can reach or attract a different kind of clientele with what we're offering to the world. I would like to ask, that bit of them being so new that they're unsure about a lot of things. And then there are gurus out there that says, oh, you've got to create a niche. You've got to focus on this. You've got to come out with that whole marketing plan. And of course, now build your presence, right, on social media. These days, there's a lot more things that we've got to get our hands on. What would be like a couple of things on top of your mind right now that you say, you know what? Maybe these are the top 3 that you should focus on first before all the rest.
Again, there are no answers, but I mean, I can share my experience.
Yes.
And it can totally be wrong for someone.
Sure.
What I believe is marketing and sales requires completely another set of skills. Coaching.
Yeah.
So if you do have those skills from your experience, from your background, you're lucky. But if you not,
Yeah.
if you don't, then it's going to be, I mean, then it's becoming a struggle
Yeah.
because, I mean, it's so different. And I
Yeah.
have been not doing that truly. The same happened with consulting. When I just opened the company, I thought, oh, we need to start selling. And of course, we started selling, and then it didn't work. And then there was a moment I said, you know what? I'm just going to do what I do the best way
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
So my approach is you just master your competencies,
Yeah.
and it will come. Of course, marketing is important, but I have not been doing that. I mean, at least myself, because I know I'm not good in marketing. So to become good in marketing and sales, I need to change so much in my life, focus on something else, and then how about my coaching muscle? I do want to go there. I'm this type of person. I know that I have talents here, and I want to spend my time and energy there. As for the niche, again, I'm going to talk about things that probably are not popular at all. I think that coaching is coaching. Whoever you do it with, because the competencies are there and they are, I mean, identical to life coaching or to executive coaching or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to do whatever you, I mean, need, whatever you do in your coaching session. Of course, with the team, it's different because you need to also take care of the team dynamics, but everything else is coaching, for me at least. So I look at that niching as something that helps me to give a sign to that segment that I want to work with. So if I want to work with executives, then I would say I'm an executive coach. And that's a sign for those who are executives that, I mean, that's who I would love to work with.
Yeah.
So I'm using that niching as a tool for me to attract those who I would love to work with, and for marketing reasons. The key is mastering. The key is mastering your skills, and that's what I would love to emphasize. I mean, when my students come and ask about marketing and sales, I keep asking, I mean, when was the last time you have been in a triad? Mastering your skills. It's about not stopping to develop. It's about not being sure that you are a master. Even if you are a master, if you are the master, it's about the continuous growth. And I clearly recall that day when I got my MCC certification. And you know what was happening in the morning of that day? I was in my triad.
That's good.
I was in my triad, and yes, 5 minutes of chat and celebration and everything. And then we started working because I do need that. I enjoy that. Yeah. And mastery is not the destination. It's a journey.
So beautiful. I mean, you said so much there, Nana. I'd like to attempt to bring it to some sort of paraphrase, if I can. You kind of said mastering that skill, that muscle, right? Continuously focus on that, and it's not just like a once-off to achieve a certain credential, but it's a continuous walk. And every other day, we've got to continuously want to be part of that. So that's one. And I think the second part is that we would be attracted to the people we would have most passion with, that love, as you were saying, that comes out from that interactions, to be able to identify the type of people that will come and enjoy our gift. Yeah, it's very nice. You know, in the journey of mastery, obviously it's a different journey for everyone. But for you, Nana, as you said, you are a driven sort of person, and that kind of led you towards that mastering, that coaching of yours. My question is, in your journey into mastery, what are some of the keys that you have identified within yourself so that continuous pursuit will be for a lifetime?
Basically a lot. And I would say, each coaching session brings new ones independently.
Wow.
Even if I'm a coach or if I'm an observer, I talked about my triad. And of course, when I'm a client, but probably some few of those that I would mention today. The first one is what you can imagine you can do. That's what I clearly understood. And it might sound like a bit cliche, but it's not about the fact. It's about the journey, about the dedication. And I believe it's true not only for an individual, but also for a company, for a group, for a country, for the world. I mean, if you think about how we start, how most of the people start their day. How do they start? It's a phone, checking the messages, checking the to-dos. So basically, when I'm reflecting around that, it looks like, those messages that they were wrote yesterday or an hour ago. So basically, it's you start your day with yesterday. You start your day with a list of to-dos that was created yesterday, and it is the most, for me, the morning, most important part of the day, when your brain wakes up. And that's when, for a certain seconds, maybe, you don't remember who you are, what your roles are. It's not in a frame yet.
Yeah.
So that golden moment of morning, you start with something that has been in the past. And imagine, and basically you look at your today with the lenses of the past, right? How about starting, and I know, and I hope most of the coaches do that, and most probably it's not something new for coaches, but for a lot of people, how about starting the day from the future? And that's a concept I put together, exploring your future from the future. So basically, how about starting with how my ideal day would look like? What do I want today?
Yeah.
What would be the best for me today? What can I create today? How much happiness and fun and meaning might fit into today? And then you start reflecting around that, which means that you start being there when that all happened. And there, from the future, you reflect how that looks like, what you feel there, who is benefiting, what's the meaning that's created for you and for others. Meaning that you start with the lenses of the future. And I call it a future, but it's not basically a future. Future is part of it. It's the future and also the state you want to achieve. So it can be So basically, you start with the lenses of what you want.
Yeah.
And your now is filled with what you want instead of what has happened already.
That's beautiful.
In that golden moment of the morning. And that's why I'm saying what you can imagine you can do, and I believe it. If you do that consistently enough, it's going to change your life. So that's probably one of the most important that I have noticed and experienced, and it comes from from my own experience, and there where my limitations shifted.
You wanna share one more, since you're hot on it?
Yeah, probably one more is about the learning. I mean, imagine you're working out, and of course you need to do that consistently. And you go to the gym and you do the workout, and your muscle is fit, and you are fit.
Yeah.
And of course, the day you stop training the muscle, you might not notice anything. But if you continue not training that muscle, one day it's going to show itself. So yeah, please don't stop, coaches.
Yeah.
It's amazing to grow.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much better you can do if you continue. During that very short time of the coaching session, of course, you can help your clients to create something amazing. But if you continue growing, then I mean, you can find other ways. You can do even more, and you can come. I mean, those transformational sessions that they say. Of course, any session is a value for sure. But for me, that transformational session is something that's the most valuable one. When the change happens there in the session, and this is something else that I wanted to share, that I was reflecting to share. The difference between a session and a transformational session, for me, is when we deliver a session and then the client comes up with steps that they have to go and do so that the change happens there. And this is a session that would definitely is good and would definitely bring change. Transformational session for me is when the change happens during the session.
Wow.
And usually it's when you manage to help the client to shift on a level of identity or mission, vision. So for that, you need to continue growing.
It's a parallel, isn't it? In order to witness the shifts of our own clients, we as coaches also need to go through those shifts in our own time, in our journey. And then there's the danger, Nana, where we as coaches sometimes get into the neck of it, where we anticipate these moments before it happens, you know, because of our great intention and our genuine desire to see our clients grow. Have you experienced that, where our desires become a little bit more overwhelming than where the coachee wants to be at?
Yeah. And that's so sad, and that can bring a lot of pain, basically, because we are jumping into saving our clients at that very moment. And that's when we lose partnership. That's when we lose that approach that the client is resourceful and whole, and they are able and capable to save themselves. Even more, they don't need to be saved by themselves. I mean, only when you leave that space and that responsibility to the client, it's possible that they find that way, that method, and they take that responsibility. When I teach my students, I go with a metaphor. When you take the responsibility for the client, imagine you're putting something really heavy on your shoulders that's not yours.
Yeah.
Basically, please take that heavy whatever and transfer it not on your client's shoulders. No, because that's also responsibility, because you're taking the responsibility for the client to take that responsibility if you're transferring it to their shoulders. So please take that responsibility from your shoulders and put that on the table. And let the client decide if they are capable, if they want to take that responsibility and take that on their shoulders. Only that way you can help. Only with not helping you can help. And that's a philosophy of coaching. And that's what might look strange about coaching, but that's what is different. That's where the difference comes from training, from mentoring, because there you're taking a responsibility for the advice, for the way they go and get there. No, you don't need to do that. Let them find their own. It's going to be better. Even if you come up with the best advice in the world, please don't. I know you want to succeed. I know you want to see your clients succeeding and achieving their results, but you cannot take them. You cannot pull them. You cannot push them, because then you create expectations, first of all, for you. And when they don't achieve, it's painful.
Beautiful, beautiful. I totally resonate with all you said, Nana. And you know what comes to my mind when you said that is the thought that some leaders out there are thinking that you, coach, come in and rescue my people because they are lost, right? So there is that danger, as coaching is obviously misrepresented in some ways in the minds of some clients, some organizations who don't 100% know what coaching is all about, right? And they say, oh, okay, what I want you to do, your responsibility, coach, is to come in and help my people understand that they have to be doing this, right? Because this is what I want. I want to be driving them towards their targets and obviously the KPIs, deliverables, all of that, right? I guess the question to you, Nana, from your vast experience working with countless of clients, and of course you being a leader yourself before, what would be your approach today when you hear such expectation being put on the table on behalf of the people you might be working with? How do you manage that?
Beautiful question. And that happens very often because I lead now. I mean, I lead my company. I still lead my company, and I have clients who would come for consulting or would come for coaching. And when I see clients like those talking that's a sign for me that probably, first of all, that leader needs to understand what coaching is all about, and maybe have a set of sessions so that they find their way of managing and leading their people. Basically, what you were describing is the leader or a manager wanting to transfer some of their responsibility and role on the coach's shoulders, which is so dangerous. And of course, a lot of coaches would go there because that's business. What I would suggest, and I am suggesting that, and I have a number of projects like that, I would definitely suggest that leader to reflect and probably help them to reflect around what's their role. I might suggest sessions for the management, and I might even suggest to learn coaching approach. And I have had a number of projects like that for managers, for leaders, and when they learn the coaching approach, they start to understand better their role. And then when they start to understand better their role, they start to take the tools we give during the trainings that they might use with their employees. And that way you're creating a huge difference, because it's not one-time result, it's you're helping them to change their behavior. So I would say probably there was a quote, everybody needs a coach, which I rephrased. Everybody needs to learn coaching.
That's beautiful.
Not necessarily to become a coach, but the approach. Of course, we learn time management, right? We learn communication. We learn so many things. So if you learn coaching as another skill, competency, way of thinking, then you will be able to use that in your whatever you do. And basically, we're coming to the beginning of our conversation, and be more efficient in whatever you do. I believe that, if we bring coaching to those systems like a school, education, leadership, if they bring it on a level of giving them as a tool, teaching that, that will change a lot.
Thank you. Lovely thoughts over there. So many gems that you're sharing all at once. You are the ICF president of Armenia. I guess ICF has been a part of your life for a bit as well. So for a coach listening in, or perhaps even not a coach, if you're interested in coaching, what will be your version now? Not just being president, of course, but your experience of the community at the ICF. What would you tell them?
I'm so grateful to those who created the core competency framework. I've been doing the assessment course, and I mean the deepness of that model is just amazing. So I think and not only that, what ICF is doing is something, I would say it's a leadership thing for the world, and I truly mean it. Because, and I mean not only what ICF is doing now, but what has been done so far, because it is showing let's call it a competency framework for a better us, let's say, for a better anything. So if you put that core competency framework in school, and imagine that the kids are being raised and taught having those in mind, we will have completely new picture when that generation grows, right? And same with everything. So, I mean, the most important thing in ICF for me is the core competency framework and the path you can develop those competencies. I mean, for me, it's like it's helping me to explain those who come after me that if you take this path that has been taken by so many people, that was mastered the path itself during so many years, then you'll definitely get to your destination. And that's about ICF Global. But if we think about local chapters, and I, of course, can talk about ours, we have been established less than a year ago, and it started with 20-something coaches. Now we're more than 50. We have very ambitious goals. One of them is to have 45 MCC coaches within 5 years.
Okay.
So the goal is to build that space for the coaches to really grow. My ambition is that Armenian coaches become kind of a brand. If it is an Armenian coach, then it's a very, very good thing. So we're trying to really build on ICF, whatever is created by ICF, so that the community, people, the government, the institutions, any stakeholder, any current or future stakeholder of coaching, they know what coaching is all about. They clearly know, even more importantly, what coaching is not about, so that they can benefit the most. And when I say, for example, when I say 45 coaches, 45 MCC coaches, and if I imagine like in 5 years from now, those 45 MCC coaches, that means that they're working with leaders, with political leaders, with business leaders, with teams. I mean, and if you like just make a small calculation, it's at least 100 better decisions taken a day. And for a country with 2 million plus population, not a big one, 100 plus quality decisions a day is going to make a real difference. So that's what in our mind, in our community, and I hope you hear about us.
Wow. I'm gonna applaud you for that vision and how you see coaching. It's just so refreshing. I'm serious, Nana, and how you're so confident that what we stand for, the core competencies, can bring such a difference to the lives of people. And as you say it, right, decisions that we make every day, even the example of the core competencies being part of education, right from the start. How would that be over the next couple of years if that was the foundations, right? So many thoughts there, and it was so beautiful. I'd like to ask you, well, one of the last questions, because time has just caught up with us. Where do you see the future of coaching going?
Beautiful question. And I'll probably continue my thought about the schools.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm really result-oriented. So I was reflecting how to make the best impact, the fastest, best impact. And I was reflecting for a long time. And I came to a conclusion that it is schools.
Wow.
Why? Because imagine if we manage, and we do, by the way, a project with schools in Armenia right now. Imagine if we manage to change the lives of those children via their teachers, via training the teachers, and if we reach each and every kid with coaching, and if if we manage to change their lives,
Wow. Yeah.
if we manage to help them start thinking differently, then in 10, 15 years from now, when they become leaders, when they become businessmen, when they become politicians, when they start their adult life, we will have completely different picture and generation.
Wow.
So it might sound strange, but the fastest way is going through schools.
I love that so much. And I think you purposely said those words. The fastest way is to go through schools.
Yes.
It may seem like a contradiction, but I kind of know where you're heading with that one, because that is also the sustainable way of growth. It's true, that channel, like a lot of things. If you want to see change, some people say you've got to have planted something back then if you want to see something in the future. Thank you. Any final thoughts to leave with our listeners here today, Nana?
Yeah, maybe something that I found out for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we try so hard. Sometimes we want to reach results for our future, for us, for those who we love, that we sometimes forget to live and enjoy life and have fun. I mean, probably live your life, have fun, create happiness for yourself, first of all, for those who you love today and now. Yeah. And your future is going to be better.
Thank you so much, Nana, once again, for being on the show today, and for your wisdom and your passion about learning, about growing, about keeping to our lane in coaching, and just building that muscle over and over again.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you so much for what you do. This is an amazing thing, what you do.
Thank you.
And I wish I have enough time to go to each and every coach that you have invited.
Thanks once again. This has been the 100 Master Coaches show today with Coach Nana and myself, Coach Mel, signing off, saying continue pursuing that learning and growth for yourself as a coach. You take care. We'll catch you soon. Bye for now.
You have been watching the 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Brought to you by Catalyst Coach. www.catalystcoach.live. We will be right back with our next Master Coach on the 100 Master Coaches series.